Okay, before we get started, I'd like to admit Plaintiff's Deposition Exhibit 6 and the maps and charts. I'm going to mark Plaintiff's Deposition Exhibit 7. It's the map of the first floor of the house with the X's and the rooms that the floors were washed. Thanks.
Excuse me. Can I see that?
What happened to those other two maps?
You've already handed them over.
Okay.
Does the bathroom need to be marked? 'Cause I think there was testimony that you had done that, and I don't see that that's marked on there.
You want these back?
Those can be exhibits. But we're still on the record, right?
Yeah.
Did you testify that you scrubbed the bathroom floors as well on July 12th?
I washed this bathroom floor, yes.
Okay. Move this in as Plaintiff's Deposition Exhibit number 7. How long have you been doing triathlons?
2005, I believe I started.
How many triathlons have you done?
Maybe 15, it's a guess.
And do you have any additional triathlons scheduled?
No.
Tell me when you did the last one. I'm sorry, it's getting late in the day.
The last one, I believe, was April 2007.
And did anybody do that triathlon with you?
I did that triathlon with Scott Hyder.
Anybody else?
That's it.
Did you train with anybody for that triathlon?
No, I trained individually.
How did you train?
And again, I'm going to object on relevance, but go ahead and answer it.
I train, the only biking I do for training is at home on my stationary bike. Running I usually did at home or at the gym or at the office. And I swam at the pool at Lifetime Fitness.
Did you keep an exercise log?
I do.
On the computer or a hard copy?
It's online.
Where is it?
You actually have it on the disc.
Okay. And how long have you been keeping the exercise log?
I went back as far, I think, as 2006 is when I started it.
Okay. And what purpose is the exercise log for?
It was mainly for me, just because I'm a number person, I like to track stuff like that, so I entered all my stuff to kind of motivate me to get out and train if I didn't train the previous week.
And just let the record reflect that I continue to have an objection to this line of questioning, but go ahead and answer it.
Okay. Were you finished with your answer before your lawyer interrupted you?
I think, yeah,
Okay.
I think so.
Do you keep a journal other than the exercise log?
For working out?
For any purpose?
I did keep a journal. I did keep 2 journals, I should say.
During what period of time?
I kept a journal regarding myself and the girls. I believe the time frame was April to May.
Of what year?
This year.
Where's the journal?
You have a copy of it in your discovery notes.
Okay. Did Nancy keep a journal?
To my knowledge, no.
Okay. Did Nancy have any personal files that were in the residence when she was missing?
What do you mean personal files?
Any kind of files that were her files with paperwork, documents of any kind?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay. Have you removed any documents from your residence?
No.
Okay. Did you remove any documents from Nancy's car?
The only documents I removed are the passports.
And did you remove anything from Nancy's pocketbook?
No.
Okay. Have you or your attorneys retained any other, I call them experts, other than Dr. Gould?
Objection, attorney-client privilege.
I think he can answer if...
Attorney-client privilege. Unless we disclose the experts, it's attorney-client privilege.
Well, let me ask you this. Are there any experts that you intend to call at the hearing of October the 16th?
Any other experts other than Dr. Gould?
Correct.
As far as I know, no.
Have you retained a private investigator in this case?
Objection, attorney-client privilege.
Then Do you intend to call a private investigator as a witness at the hearing on
I've-
October 16th?
No knowledge of who's going to be called at a trial or arrangement. No idea.
How is it attorney-client privilege as to whether he's retained an investigator?
Because it's work product.
Work product and attorney-client privilege are
It's work
different.
product. I'm sorry. It's work product. Objection, work product.
Well, that's not a basis for him to refuse to answer the question. I mean, he can answer the question, even if it's work product. It's discovery. It's not admissibility.
You cannot get work product, Alice.
Are you stipulating that you don't intend to call any private investigators as witnesses?
We haven't made a decision on who we're going to call, but we'll supplement that answer as soon as we make a decision about that.
Well,
We don't intend to surprise you if that's the...
well, today's October the 2nd, and I'm asking if you're going to call a private investigator as an expert witness. And if you say no, that's fine. But if you object and instruct your client not to answer the question, then I'm going to object if you try to call an investigator.
Alice, we haven't made a decision about who we're going to call.
I believe he said he has no idea who's
Right.
going to be called at trial. I believe that's an answer.
Should we call Judge Sasser on this issue?
I think I already answered the question, though.
Well, I think we can ask you if you've retained an investigator. I don't think that's attorney-client privilege.
Okay.
Go ahead and answer that.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yes, answer that.
Yeah.
To my knowledge, yes, we retained a private investigator.
Who is the investigator?
Steve Hall.
And who is that person employed with?
I do not know.
Is that person in Raleigh?
I don't know where his office is or...
Have you ever spoken to Steve Hall?
Yes.
When did you speak to Steve Hall?
I spoke with him once at the law firm and once at my residence,
Once at what law firm?
Kurtz and Bloom.
And when did you speak to Steve Hall?
Let the record reflect that it's Steve Hale, not Steve Hall.
Hale? Sorry.
Yes.
When did you speak to Steve Hale?
A month ago, 6 weeks ago, something to that effect.
What did you say to Steve Hale?
It was more just an introduction.
What did you say to Steve Hale?
Objection. Where?
Well, first of all, let's talk about the conversation at your residence. How long was he at your residence?
Let's see, I met him at my residence. I was with him for approximately 5 minutes, and then I left.
How long did you spend with him at Kurtz and Bloom?
Maybe 15 minutes. I don't know, it was a few weeks ago. I can't remember how long we actually spoke for.
Who was present during that meeting?
I believe it was just Hale, Howard, and myself.
Howard Kurtz.
Howard Kurtz, yes.
And did you discuss with him your custody case?
I don't remember if we discussed custody. I don't believe so.
Okay. What did you discuss with him?
Objection.
To what?
Attorney-client privilege work product.
Well,
We're not answering that.
if Steve Hale is in the room, I don't see how it can be
We're
attorney-client
not
privilege.
answering that. It's work product. You call the judge.
All right, I'll move on. All right. At this time, I'd like to recess the deposition with the understanding that we would be free to reconvene for the purpose of asking any questions relating to the request for production of documents and documents that are produced in conjunction therewith.
Okay. All right, let's, before we completely go.
Assuming you don't have any questions.
Yeah, before we do that, I'd like to take a 10-minute recess and speak with Howard and Lynn so that we can figure out if we're gonna ask any questions.
Okay.
Going off the record, the time is 5:54 p.m.
Well, daycares and day camps are trying to figure out how to operate under the governor's Phase 1 reopening plan.